And I'm Kat, and welcome to the Crime Chat. I am your forensic femme fatale, Natalie, is your true crime addict connoisseur.
We're just two normal girls obsessed with dark crimes, evil minds, and occasionally the unknown.
And here's your disclaimer, chatters. The following New Year's episode will contain adult content and descriptions of violent, heartbreaking, and scenarios that make you a little mad, but your listener discretion is advised.
Yes, you have been warned. And before we get into today's crime chat, Happy New Year!
Happy
Cheers!
New Year! Cheers!
Clink, 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 clink. What are you drinking? You're drinking champagne?
Yes, I got some champagne out.
I got my water. I got Crystal Light in it.
That's a celebratory. It's fine.
So, what have you done?
Well, this episode comes out after we're recording before Christmas. So, hope you all, chatters, had a wonderful holiday. And yeah, ready for 2025. Isn't that insane?
I know.
It's crazy. But hey, it's happening.
Time
it's
is
happening,
flying.
Sweetheart.
Whether we like it or not, I know.
Well, I don't know if you've heard of the series Landman. It's got Billy Bob Thornton in it.
Okay.
It's on Paramount Plus.
Mm-hmm.
It is phenomenal.
Really?
So good. His wife/ex-wife is played by Allie Larder. Do you know who that is?
Mm-mm.
She was in Varsity Blues.
Okay.
The one that had the whipped cream bikini.
I'm familiar with the scene. I don't know the actress, though.
Okay. But that's crazy because I was like, man, gosh, she looks so familiar. And so I looked up the cast and I was like, that's it. That's it. That's where she is. She was in one of the Final Destinations and maybe another I Know What You Did Last Summer kind of thing. So she hasn't been out in a while. But look, okay. That girl is in her late 40s.
Right.
And looks fan-fucking-tastic.
Really?
And she shows it off on the show. She's this very sexy, manipulative type of character.
Love it.
She's the queen bee type of character in there. And my God, like hashtag goals, like good for you, girl.
Yeah.
But it's a really, really good series. Do you know what it's about?
Mm-mm. I've never heard of it.
Okay. So Billy Bob Thornton's the main character, and he is a manager of these like oiling fields in Texas, and they have to go out and get land and make sure all the crews and everything are run. Michael Pena is in the very first episode. I won't give it away, but he's only in the first episode.
Oh, okay. Who is he, though? What was he in?
Michael Pena?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. So many things. Chips, the new Chips movie.
Okay. The name sounds familiar.
Yeah,
You would
I
think
know.
I would be better with placing these actors, but I'm not. Like, I'm really bad at that.
He was in, that was the other movie. My husband loves this movie, End of Watch, with Jake Gyllenhaal. He played the lead character in a movie, I didn't see it, but it looks interesting, A Million Miles Away. He's an astronaut. He was in Ant-Man.
Okay.
And he was in Chips. So he's been in so many different things. And he hasn't been acting for that long, it seems like, But he's pretty hot. He's a hot star. And then, of course, Billy Bob Thornton's iconic. So
Yeah.
it's just a lot of, it's a drama, like suspense, and the shit that actually happens on like oil fields and the dangers and stuff that's associated with it, and fighting the cartel because they're so close to Mexico. But it's so interesting.
Yeah.
It's very, very well done. My opinion. Chatters may think otherwise. I mean, that's pretty much it. Chris wanted to rewatch Ozark, so we kind of been watching that as well. Well, and right now, Landman is only coming out a week at a time. Comes out on Sundays. So,
Okay.
me.
I will check it out. You got to binge. You binge watch.
Yes. And then next year, there's a couple of new things coming out that I'm really excited for.
Yeah.
One is the new Daryl Dixon, the second half of the Book of Carol.
Okay.
Then Dead City, the one with Maggie and Negan. A new season comes out with that next year. Season 5 of You from Netflix.
Are you ready?
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that.
Is it true that it's going to be a female serial killer?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's still going to be the main character, but because I know it's the final season of this series, but maybe it'll be different and they'll lead in for like a spin-off.
Okay.
Maybe there'll be a female. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just excited.
Yeah.
Just excited. That's pretty much it. What about you?
So we're coming off of Christmas, right? This is after New Year's. So just so you know, this just happened to me today because we're pre-recording this episode for New Year's. So I placed an order because I'm doing Christmas Eve, so I'm cooking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I placed an order and I figured, you know what? Why do I need to go battle the lines and go to the store? Like, you can order stuff now online and it gets delivered. So I'm like,
delivered.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
So I ordered all the sides, all the things that I needed, and they made a mistake with my order.
Oh, no.
So I ordered things like 5 yams and 2 bags of the freshly cut broccoli florets. Mm-hmm. Well, I got 10 bags of broccoli. I got 15 yams. So
they gave you more than you ordered?
Way more. I ordered 2 things of mushrooms. They gave me 4. So I called them up and I'm like, hey, I must have gotten maybe the wrong order. It wasn't the wrong order because it was the 3 things that I ordered.
Yeah.
But I'm like, somebody definitely just didn't realize that somebody else filled the bag already or something weird
No, that's happened to me with Walmart.
Yeah. And they won't take it back. They're like, well, it's already delivered and it's food, it's produce, so it's just we're not going to charge you. I'm like, that's, oh my God. So I told Vinny, I'm like, we're eating broccoli for a month. I'm going to make broccoli in broccoli soup. I'm going to fry broccoli. I'm going to make sauteed broccoli. I'm going to figure it out.
And
so if you
broccoli,
have any good recipes, let me know.
Oh, wow. Yeah. My mother-in-law makes a broccoli, cheese, and rice. It's like a kind of like a risotto, broccoli, cheese, and rice, this thing that you pop in the casserole.
Right.
And she can't eat broccoli because of the medication and stuff that she's on, but she made it before for us, and we've got the recipe, and usually during the holidays we'll have it. We haven't had it this year, so maybe we'll do that for New Year's, but it's
Send
good.
Send me the recipe.
Yeah.
Send me the recipe.
So good.
The other thing I did is I watched the movie Haunting in Venice that I haven't seen. I know you saw it.
Yes. Did you like it?
Very good.
I thought so too. I thought it was good. Yeah. And actually, now that you mentioned that, it reminds me, I was doing some writing research on like detective fiction and stuff. And one of the authors that I'm reading mentions Agatha Christie and talks about all of her series and all the books and stuff that she wrote and mentioned her disappearance. Did you know that she disappeared?
No, you're blowing my mind.
I know.
Wait a minute. Is this a crime chat?
Yes, exactly. That's what I wrote it down for. I was like, we need to do this story. Yeah. So Agatha Christie, she disappeared for 11 days, had no recollection of the last 11 days. It was like December 3rd or something like that, 1926. So it would have been the 14th, I think, of 1926 when she returned. But she didn't know what happened. People, have hypotheses and think that she was just having like a mental breakdown. She was 32 or 36 at the time that she just like vanished. And because she was so popular as an author, there were so many resources and stuff that were out there. And then she just shows back up. She had no idea what happened to her. That's the narrative. That's the official narrative. But people are saying she had like this mental breakdown, or she was trying to like fake her own death and then decided it wasn't going to be worth it and show up. People said it was a publicity stunt.
Well,
so I was thinking that could be a good unknown for
conspiracy.
This season. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Like, how did I not know this? How did I? But you said Haunting in Venice. It reminded me of Agatha Christie. So
yes, and is she the writer of that?
She is. Well,
she is the writer of that.
Hercule Poirot. She's the originator of the character.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I enjoyed the movie, but other than that, that's kind of all I did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Other than technical difficulties, which happens as if you are familiar with how podcasts and technology works, it's not always going to be perfect.
Yeah. So basically, chatters, if you listen to the episode prior to this one, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears of mine that went into it.
Yes.
Because the computer did not work with me.
Yes.
But
it happens.
It's okay. It's all salvageable. All right. So, Kat, before we get into your story, you asked me to do something cute. When you asked, I'm like, okay, let me see. And there was a lot there. So you asked me to discuss love triangles and the murder ratio connected to them. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But there are so many cases that we went over. So I'm like, oh, okay. I know exactly what she's talking about. All right. Well, so I dug up some information.
Okay.
So now love triangles are always interesting and definitely crime chat worthy, as you can see in a couple of prior episodes. Cheers.
Yes.
They show just how messy and complicated relationships and feelings can get. But when jealousy and betrayal take over, things can spiral out of control, sometimes even leading to murder. Murder. Let's dive into the link between love triangles and homicide with some surprising stats and 3 jaw-dropping real-life cases.
Yeah.
And I also pulled 3 movies that you may like. Yes. Or you probably have seen them.
Probably.
I know I've seen them. So, what is a love triangle? A love triangle involves 3 people where 2 are competing for the love and attention of one person. This kind of situation often stirs up strong emotions like jealousy, insecurity, and possessiveness. When someone feels their relationship is in danger, they might act in extreme and sometimes violent ways. Yes.
We'll see that today.
Oh, boy. All right. Love triangles and homicide. By the numbers, Kat, did you know that almost 10% of domestic murders in the U.S. are caused by romantic disputes? I'm sure
I would have thought that was higher. I would have thought that was higher.
No. That's what I mean,
10%.
That was for 2.
Okay. I mean, that's still pretty hefty, you know.
I got that from the 2023 FBI report. Like, that's what they reported.
PCR, yeah.
Now, if we take a closer look at these stats, total domestic murders equals about 4,500 a year. Murders linked to love triangles are around 450 annually. Perpetrators, if you break them up between genders, so it's 60% men and 40% women that commit these triangle murders. Love triangles.
Jealous and possessive, I would think, maybe, so that ratio seems fair.
It should be higher.
Seems fair.
Listen, I've seen red before. You know, I've seen red, but you know what I've learned just going through the years, and I don't know if you can agree. I think if I had something to tell my younger self when it comes to things like this, so jealousy and betrayal and all this stuff, I would tell my younger self to do what I'm doing now is you gotta let a little bit out gradually. You can't just, it can't be an explosion. So understand who you are, and if you have that tendency to be a little bit more possessive or whatever, let it out. Communicate that to your partner on a daily basis. Not aggressive, not nasty, not malicious, but just say, you know, this made me feel uncomfortable, whatever.
Expectations and boundaries are very healthy. Yeah.
Right. So when they mess up, they know that, you know, a tsunami, well, the tsunami may be smaller at that point because they should know better. But anyway.
You caused this.
Real narcissist.
Gaslight.
See what you made me do? No. Okay. Most of these crimes stem from 3 big factors. 1, emotional attachment. The deeper the love, the stronger the reaction to losing it.
Sure.
2, feeling betrayed. Trust issues and infidelity heighten the sense of betrayal. 3, inability to handle rejection. For some, the end of a relationship feels unbearable, like life is over. And that, you know, I guess those emotions I definitely would have gone through young, like in my teens, early 20s. Can't handle it. Life is over.
Put a pin in that when we get to the story, and you tell me what you think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. This is going to be a pop quiz at the end.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Okay, well, famous love triangle murder cases. Let's explore 3 real-life cases where love triangles turned deadly. Number 1, the Halls Mills murder case, 1922. Have you heard of this?
We talked about it before.
We have. I know we have.
Briefly touched on it. Yeah.
I don't remember
But we've talked about it, like doing an intro or some background and stuff before, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this case shook New Jersey to its core. Reverend Edward Hall and his lover, Eleanor Mills. Yes, I remember you discussing this now. Now I remember the Reverend. Okay. Were discovered murdered, and their affair became public. Because this was a long time ago. I think I'm confusing this case with the Valentine's Day murder.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The one by the tree.
Yep. There wasn't a love triangle. I don't think so. I think they were just murdered.
They were just murdered. Okay.
Yeah, by like a lover's lane type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, despite years of investigations and high-profile trials, no one was ever convicted.
Yeah.
Next one. I remember this one because this was in my neck of the woods at the time, and I remember when this was all over the news. Amy Fisher and Joey Buttafuoco, 1992.
Yes. Oh, yes.
They nicknamed her the Long Island's Lolita. 17-year-old Amy Fisher had an affair with Joey Bonafuco, and this escalated into violence when she shot his wife. And I remember, like, she walked up to the front door, rang the doorbell. Mary Jo, the wife, opened the door, and she shot her straight in the face.
Yep.
And Mary Jo survived. Thank God.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that as well.
Yeah, the scandal was huge.
Yep.
Mary Jo was literally in the court when this was all happening, all like bandaged up. Like she wasn't in the hospital that long, actually. I think the bullet either went through her cheek or kind of like into her eye, but it missed her brain. It
missed everything, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Next one, number 3, Betty Broderick, 1989. Betty's bitter divorce from Dan Broderick ended in tragedy when she killed him and his new wife, Linda. The case highlighted the destructive power of anger and resentment and since inspired books and TV shows. That's another one we probably need to do.
Yeah, so many.
Love is one of the most powerful emotions. It can be immense joy and also deep pain.
Yes.
These dramatic stories teach us valuable lessons about relationships and how love can sometimes escalate into hate.
Yes. There's a lot of songs about, like, I love you, I hate you, I hate that I love you. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Taylor Swift, her entire success is built on breakups. Every single song is about her breaking up with a guy or how she doesn't need him anymore or whatever. And amen to you, but like, yeah, like it definitely, I don't know. She's definitely took that.
She's
to
capitalized
the bank,
on.
So
Yeah.
she's capitalized.
Good for you.
Love doesn't have to be a battlefield. Love that song.
Okay, Pat Benatar.
I have to put that in. I know. Unless you're auditioning for a soap opera, then it's all cool. Yes, definitely be dramatic. But keep your drama low and your happiness high by working on good communication and staying calm. And remember, slowly let it out. Let the red out a little bit over time so that your partner is aware of who you are if you get angry. And also, I think it tapers that tendency down a bit because, you know what? Not everybody understands that they have that tendency to be like, not aggressive, but be explosive. Like if they get jealous. Like, I don't think people see it. So,
yeah.
After all, no one wants to be in a relationship and end up the subject of a crime chat episode.
Wow. I mean, true.
So stay safe and remember, love triangles are best left to the geometry class. So now here are some movie-based love triangles. Famous ones. First one, Fatal Attraction. 1987.
That one was the first one that came to my mind.
Yeah, I think this was like this was a great movie. Yeah. A married man, one night stand with a woman turns into a nightmare. Glenn Close, you know, I will not be ignored. Like that whole, she was intense. She truly brought out, I think she was like one of those like scenes or characters that if you had that tendency to be like her, you were like, oh damn, like, wait, do I look like that? No, I gotta tone it down. But in a way, like if you watch the movie, you kind of feel bad for her too because he really did use her. He used her as a one night stand. She wasn't really expecting that, and then the whole pregnancy thing or whatever. So you feel bad for her, but not stable. Number 2, The Other Woman. Have you ever seen this? 2014.
Is that with? Oh no.
The three girls. It's with what's her name? The one from Something About Mary. Carmen Diaz, yes. And the other 2 girls, yes.
Yes. I was thinking What Women Want with Mel Gibson, where he could read their minds. That's what I was coming to my mind.
That. I've never seen that movie. But
okay.
I know this movie's great. Like, in these 3 women, you can definitely, as a woman, you could sit there and say, oh, I'm that woman. I'm that girl. I'll have that reaction. Because 3 totally different women. One discovers that her husband is cheating on with these other 2 women. And the other 2 women, they all gang up and they kind of seek their own revenge on him. And it's pretty epic at the end. And Nicki Minaj is the receptionist. And she is everything. She's everything to me. Nikki.
I'm actually looking at the cast. Leslie Mann and Kate Upton, and then it says Nicki Minaj, and then Nicolaj Coaster, who was in Game of Thrones.
Jamie with
yes, and then Don Johnson.
Don
Johnson was in it. He plays a character named Frank.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, now I gotta watch the movie. I don't think I remember seeing him in that. I wonder. Oh, he may be the dad. He's the dad. Yes.
Okay.
He's Carmen Diaz's dad.
Okay.
All right. But I didn't realize that was him. Oh, wow.
Honestly, I don't think I've seen that movie. I'll have to give it a go.
Number 3, Unfaithful. Excellent movie. Diane Lane, 2002. A seemingly happy marriage is tested when the wife has an affair, which led to a series of emotional and violent events. So, like, she had an affair, like this really provocative midlife crisis type of affair.
Yeah.
And the husband finds out, and the husband ends up killing the person that she had an affair with, and in the end, like, she covers for the husband because she
that's
felt
Richard
guilty.
Gere.
And Diane Lane.
Yeah, and Diane Lane. Yep.
It's a good movie.
There's another movie like that has Helen Hunt. She has an affair, but her husband ends up being a serial killer, I think.
Oh, my God. Yes.
Is it Frogger?
My God. Wait, now I got to look that up because I know the movie.
Yeah.
I've seen Helen Hunt.
I See You. That's what it is. It's called I See You.
I See You. Yes.
Yep.
That was a good movie. I remember that. I remember the scene when she was fighting at the end. Oh.
Yeah. But her husband ends up, John Tenney, I think is his name.
I wonder if that's like based on a true, maybe that's another crime chat.
Maybe. Helen Hunt, John Tenney, and Owen Teague. The guy that she has the affair with, remember he end up tied up in the basement or whatever, and the husband kills him, and then she finds it. Yeah. That was a good movie.
Yes.
It's 2019, so it's not that long ago. Oh, I say that. It's almost 6 years now.
Oh.
Jeez.
2002. Isn't it 2002?
No, I See You is 2019.
Oh, okay.
Unfaithful, you said, was 2002. So when you described that movie, it reminded me of the I See You movie.
Okay. So now, with all of this said, just remember that if you or somebody that you know is going through this emotional roller coaster of being in a love triangle or possibly being in a situation somehow connected to something like this, there are resources available for help to get out of the situation. So,
yes.
Yeah. So that's my intro for
Yay!
your story, which I do not know what you are doing. As usual.
Yeah. Find out. Well, I wasn't too sure either. Last episode, we had something on the schedule, and then I was like, crap, it's New Year's. Let me see if I could find something that's New Year related.
Right.
And I did. And believe me, there was plenty to pick from.
Oh, boy. Okay.
There's a lot. So are you ready?
Yes.
The New Year, a symbolization of self-reflection of the past year and a look forward into the new year. Some even say they have hope for a fresh start and new opportunities. And that's what might have been in mind for one widow turned murder conspirator. This New Year's crime chat is far from traditions of Auld Lang Syne. Instead, highlights a lover's quarrel that would end in murder.
Oh, boy.
It's New Year's Eve, 2018, in St. Joseph, Michigan. Army Sergeant Tyrone Hassel III was on leave with his wife, Army Specialist Camilla Hassel, and their 2-year-old son, Tyrone Hassel IV. They were preparing to ring in the 2019 New Year at the home of Tyrone's father, Tyrone Hassel Jr. Now, so far, we've got 3 people named Tyrone. The main Tyrone I'm going to talk about is the victim in this case.
Okay.
So what would come next would expose deep, dark secrets far from the promises of a fresh start. Tyrone was standing outside of his father's home near his car when multiple gunshots rang out. Camilla, who's inside at the home at the time, ran out after hearing the shots, only to find Tyrone clinging to life. A panic-stricken Camilla calls 911 at about 11 p.m., quote, "I need help. My husband was shot," end quote. She was tearful and upset during the call. She said she found him unresponsive and riddled with bullets.
Oh, my God.
First responders show up, almost instantaneously, pretty quickly, to find an emotionally distraught wife. Tyrone was placed on a gurney and put into the ambulance. When Camilla rushed past the paramedics to make sure that she got inside, she's like, let me get into the ambulance with them, to be there for her husband, of course. But all life-saving efforts would fall short, and Tyrone Hassel III was pronounced dead on December 31st, 2018. So, who was Army Sergeant Tyrone Hassel III? He was born August 23rd, 1995, in Benton Harbor, Michigan, to Tyrone Hassel Jr. and LaShonda Jones. He received his formative education at Benton Harbor area schools. He graduated with honors in 2013. There he was a member of the Tigers Marching Band, Junior ROTC, and the Kappa League. He continued his education at Grand Valley State University in Annandale, Michigan, where he studied mechanical engineering.
Smart
cookie, yeah. But it was there when he decided to enlist in the Army in 2015. His dad said, quote, he was motivated to do better. He lived here and he knew there was nothing here. There was nothing going on, end quote. So, I mean, Dad sees in his son a way to better himself in his situation.
Yeah.
While in the Army, Tyrone received multiple honors. He was awarded the Army Achievement Medal, the German Army Proficiency Badge, and completed a 9-month rotation in South Korea. His most recent accomplishment was on October 31st, 2017, when he was promoted to sergeant. Tyrone was a devoted husband, father, son, brother, and soldier. He had a jovial personality and loved having a good time, whether he was playing pool, basketball, baseball, taking care of his dogs, taking care of his son. Tyrone enjoyed spending time with his family and friends, and he had a true zeal for life. Now, who is Camilla Hassel, the wife? Camilla Nakia Martin was born January 3rd, 1997. And she was also a U.S. Army specialist. She met her husband, Tyrone, while they were both serving with the Army at Fort Carson in Colorado in 2015. The couple was married May 17th, 2017. They recently had welcomed a son together who, by the time of this incident, December 31st, 2018, was about 2 years old.
Okay.
Camilla had a good relationship with her husband's family, and after her husband was murdered, they came together to help Camilla as she mourned. Tyrone's dad said, quote, most of the day she would just sit on the couch and wouldn't move, wouldn't go nowhere, end quote. I mean, you can imagine, right?
Yeah, that's terrible.
11 days after Sergeant Hassel's killing, the investigation took a dramatic turn when police received an anonymous tip from a woman. The woman claimed that her son was in the military and that her son knew Camilla was having a relationship with another soldier. Enter love triangle.
And this is bad in the military. They don't allow that, right? They're not.
Oh, no. Yeah. So like adultery is maybe part of a divorce proceeding kind of thing or child support or something. In the military, oh, yeah, it's a punishable offense and people can get kicked out for it. Yeah. So on the same day as this anonymous tip from a woman, 2 soldiers at Fort Stewart in Georgia came forward to the Army's Criminal Investigation Division, the CID, with fear that one of their friends, Specialist Jeremy Kuehler, I don't know how to say his last name.
Okay.
Kuehler. These 2 soldiers said that they were aware of a relationship between Camilla and Jeremy.
Okay.
And one of them actually began to feel anxious about his own safety when Jeremy actually described to this other person how he had killed Tyrone. The CID, Army CID at Fort Stewart, immediately launched their own investigation, not really knowing what was going on really in Michigan. They conducted multiple interviews with soldiers, people who knew both Camilla and Jeremy. Special Agent Zachary Roberts of CID told ABC's 2020 that one witness interview disclosed that Jeremy had told this person, quote, Camilla Hassel was his girl and Sergeant Hassel had to go, end quote.
Wow, they're being really obnoxious. Like I'm shocked that they're saying okay.
Yeah. Chris Kessel, Camilla's attorney, would later say, quote, there's no doubt in my mind that had Camilla never met Jeremy Kuehler, this never would have happened, end quote. Sure, of course. So who is Jeremy Kuehler? Cellular Kuehler. Okay. Jeremy Jordan Kuehler was born June 12th, 1994.
What trouble. I'm telling you, what trouble.
Jeremy was also in the Army, which is where he met Camilla. And in fact, all 3 of them, Tyrone, Camilla, and Jeremy, were assigned to the 1st Armored Brigade Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division, at Fort Stewart in Georgia. Jeremy and Camilla had actually met and then started their secret romantic rendezvous while they were deployed to Camp Casey in South Korea in 2017.
Okay.
Camilla was reportedly unsatisfied with her marriage. She made claims to Jeremy that Tyrone didn't pay enough attention to her. She said Tyrone was a workaholic and spent more time on the Army base than at home with their son. Jeremy later claimed it was Camilla who manipulated him into believing he needed to kill her husband. He'd been planning to divorce his wife. He was also married.
Oh, boy.
And he fell in love with Camilla. Later, he said he even got attached to Tyrone IV, the baby, Hassel's baby, and nicknamed him Chunk. A little nickname for him.
That's a cute nickname, but still, like,
it is.
That's fucked up. That's messed up. Now you have children involved. No.
Yeah. So Jeremy said later, quote, "My mind was twisted. I thought I had to do that in order for me to have a family with her because I wanted kids," end quote. And so the plot begins. Jeremy and Camilla had orchestrated an entire event to keep their relationship going and to secure the hefty life insurance policy from Tyrone. All for love, all for money.
Yeah.
Jeremy bought 2 guns prior to the shooting from a fellow soldier, Sergeant Tadarius Golston. One of the guns would eventually match the caliber used to kill Tyrone. Camilla began to inform Jeremy of Tyrone's whereabouts, often multiple times a week. He's going here, he's going there, he's coming home. The duo communicated via Snapchat because they thought the messages they sent each other, often with gruesome details apparently about how they wanted to kill Tyrone and they were like plotting,
Right.
that they would disappear from the app and they couldn't be traced back to them. Well, they were wrong.
That's not, I mean, even though it's like technically the company's like, yeah, they get erased after 24 hours.
Yeah. It's metadata.
They can search for it. Right, like an agency can search them.
Yes, they can.
I can't, you can't, but like an agency can. Right?
Well, between December 19th and December 31st of 2018, Jeremy went to Michigan 4 different times. Remember, he's in Georgia.
Okay.
And the killer couple attempted to murder Tyrone each time he went there. On the last attempt, of course, it worked. On that night, Camilla called Jeremy and asked him to come back to the house for another attempt, where she informed Tyrone was on his way back with food. Like he went out to get food or whatever and was bringing it back to the family. He's on his way back. Hurry up.
Yeah.
So now we'll pick up on the story where we began, Camilla's frantic 911 call. So following the murder, police asked Camilla questions about what happened, who she thought would want to do this, who would want to kill her husband.
Right.
Camilla denied knowing anything about who would want to target or kill or hurt her husband. But during one of the interviews with police, Camilla was asked if her husband had life insurance and if she was going to get his $400,000.
Who did she ask this?
So the police.
Oh, that's
so
a great
so the police are like
question to ask. That's just. You think she would be smarter than that coming from the military? Like you think
this girl's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
This girl's so stupid.
Oh my God.
I don't care. She's got life in prison, so
Okay.
I don't care.
Okay.
So the police are like, "Hey, does your husband have life insurance?" She's like, "Yeah, I think I'm going to get $400,000." This is the typical SGLI that military offers. You can opt up to that amount. I've been retired for several years, but last I heard it was $400,000. And at the time, it would have been $400,000, which is the top amount you can get for life insurance if the active duty person is killed, like in action or accidental death or murdered. Then it would go to the family or to whoever is listed as the beneficiary. Investigators had a couple of clues, including a neighbor who noticed a man getting into a black car right after the shooting. So neighbors up in Michigan, where police were doing interviews, and they're like, yeah, I kind of saw this guy get into a black car and left. Jeremy was put under CID surveillance in Georgia at his home near the base, from this tip that came into the CID. And they found out that he drove a black Chevy Impala. CID provided the Michigan investigators with the plate of the car, and the Michigan team found out the car was in the area during the time of the shooting.
This couple.
So you've got evidence that places him there.
One stupider, dumber. One is dumb and dumber.
Dumb and dumber.
Dumb and dumber.
Yes. Jeremy was arrested in Georgia on January 11th, 2019. He initially refused to talk to investigators. Jeremy's black Chevy Impala was searched, like an search incident to arrest kind of thing. They probably had a warrant to do so. Investigators found 9mm ammunition and another 9mm magazine, which matched the same caliber and ammunition that was found at the crime scene. Jeremy actually did confess his affair and the murder to one of his soldier friends who came forward with the truth. He said that he had shot Tyrone multiple times, including in the head and in the abdomen, to make sure that he was dead. This was consistent with his wounds during the autopsy.
Oh my God, he did everything. First of all, you go to the crime scene with your car.
In your own car.
You have the smoking guns literally still in your car, the bullets
in the car.
Yeah.
In your own car.
You tell your best friend what happened with your car.
Man.
Yeah. My God.
Yeah, Camilla's mine and he's got to go. Oh, guess what? I did it, and this is how I did it. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, Jeremy's lawyer later contended that no one actually saw him at the scene, and it would be hard to actually pin it on Jeremy, since there were supposedly several other suspects. Now, that's what his lawyer is saying. As much as I looked into this case, I mean, there might have been other suspects that they were looking at, but no other suspects were made, official.
Yeah. What else was he going to say? I guess he had to say something.
Well, no.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So on the same day, January 11th, back in Michigan, this is all in Georgia, back in Michigan, investigators brought Camilla in for questioning again. Camilla was asked to and agreed to take a polygraph test. Guess what? She failed. So the following day, they brought her back in, confronted her with her results from the lie detector test. She was interviewed again, and eventually she did break down, confessed to planning the murder. Camilla opened up to investigators, admitted she had an affair with Jeremy, gave details about her role in her husband's murder, and she told the police she spent months plotting to kill Tyrone.
Wow.
She said, quote, "I'm just as guilty as he is," end quote.
Wow.
She confessed that she gave multiple updates to Jeremy about her husband's whereabouts, so Jeremy could go and gun him down. She signed a police document, basically a confession, admitting that she had plotted to kill her husband. So she was then arrested on January 12th, the following day, which was also the day of her husband's funeral. Camilla later told police that she was unhappy with her marriage, but didn't want to go through a divorce because she wouldn't be able to receive any insurance money. And it's all about money and love and money. So where are Jeremy and Camilla now? Well, while in jail, Camilla called her mother and admitted to the plot to kill her husband. The conversation, which was recorded by the jail, of course, was used as evidence in her criminal trial. She did not plead guilty. She pled not guilty. So she went to trial.
Right.
Prosecutors,
I can't believe this. I can't believe what you're saying. Okay.
I told you you're going to be pissed.
Okay.
I was like, what the fuck? Prosecutors also used cell phone records that showed Jeremy and Camilla communicating in the hours leading up to the actual shooting. Jeremy, however, did plead guilty to second-degree murder on July 30th, 2019, but only if he could talk to Tyrone Hassel Jr., the dad. And the dad agreed, and this was actually recorded from the local news outlet, and they put it out on their YouTube channel.
Okay.
Jeremy told Dad during his 56-minute visit to the jail, quote, "It took me at least 6 times," end quote, referring to the number of times he actually had tried to kill Tyrone, but he choked, which she said in his own words, like he said, "I choked." Quote, "I am truly sorry. I know that ain't worth shit."
Nope.
End quote. Yeah. Then he went on and said, "I had issues already. I was all over the place. I had hate. For some reason, I thought Camilla was my life." End quote. Jeremy was then stunned to hear from the dad that Camilla actually had informed investigators that Jeremy didn't care about her or her son. Was basically
throwing him under the
manipulating.
bus. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So Dad told then Jeremy that he appreciated his remorse and said, quote, "You seem like a good guy," end quote.
Wow. I wouldn't say that.
Well, I think he was trying to make amends. He was trying to apologize, basically going, "I was in a bad headspace. Your son didn't deserve this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's not worth anything, but I am remorseful." So the dad appreciated that, right?
Yeah.
Jeremy was sentenced to 65 to 90 years in prison. In July of 2020, Jeremy attempted to withdraw the guilty plea. But Michigan Supreme Court denied his request in August of 2021. Dad Tyrone reacted with disbelief. "You motherfucker apologized to me and then you dare change your guilty plea?"
Yeah.
And he said, quote, "Jeremy entering a guilty plea for the first time made me feel like he wanted to clear his conscience. But withdrawing is like a slap in the face," end quote.
Yeah.
So in July 2020, Camilla Hassel was found guilty, of course, of conspiracy and first-degree murder and was sentenced in the following month to life in prison without parole.
Cool.
Yes. Yes. Do it. During her trial, Camilla's mother-in-law, LaShonda Jones, Tyrone's mother, said the following. Quote, I want you to spend every day suffering behind bars for the rest of your life, and I hope every time you close your eyes, my son taps you on the shoulder and smiles. End quote.
Wow. That gave me chills. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Camilla is currently housed at the Women's Huron Valley Correctional Facility in Pittsfield Charter Township, Michigan. She has reportedly begun seeking a retrial, claiming that she was a victim of battered woman syndrome. And she fired her lawyers, saying that they didn't pursue this for her defense. So she was demanding a retrial. Mm-hmm. Now, Dad was irate when he heard this, denying his son was ever capable of violence against anyone, let alone his own wife. But you'll be happy to know Michigan Court of State Appeals denied it in November of 2022.
Good.
Yeah, beach. Camilla and Tyrone's son, Tyrone Hassel IV, lives with her mother, Camilla's mother. Tyrone Jr. and his wife, Tyrone's stepmother, Ashante Hassel, they communicate with their grandson on FaceTime, so they're in frequent communication. And Dad said, quote, I would like for him to know that his father was a good man and his father loved him very dearly, end quote. Now, this was the first time I actually heard of this story, surprisingly, until now, but it's been on several documentaries and podcasts. It was on Snapped Killer Couples, called Camilla Hassel and Jeremy Cellier, Season 12, Episode 8. This aired April 2nd, 2020.
Right.
A&E's Killer Cases, Season 2 premiere episode on August 13th, 2021. The Murder Tapes, called Sergeant Hassel, Season 8, Episode 2. This aired October 25th, 2022. Minds of Madness podcast. Now, I saw this and I looked them up. I was like, they actually look super interesting because I've been on this podcast I'll be listening to podcasts and then
and take a break and then get back on.
I'm back on. I'm back on.
Have you tried Sword and Scale yet?
No, it's on my list. I'm catching up with Wine and Crime right now because I've missed so much. Sorry, gals. But Minds of Madness podcast, episode 157, called Sinister Snapchats, The Murder of Tyrone Hassel III. This came out April 2nd, 2023. Then Crime and Spirits, True Crime Podcast. Their episode was called The Murder of Tyrone Hassel III, episode 87. This came out December 31st, 2023. They came out good timing, just like we did. And then the most recent one was actually very informing when I looked into it and was doing the research for the story. Yeah. It's ABC's 2020. The episode is called Love, Honor, Betray. This highlighted the story, including interviews with Tyrone's father. This aired February 16th, 2024, this year.
Oh, I gotta check it out. Okay, that's recent.
So that's my story, my love triangle story for the new year. Poor Tyrone. And he had no idea from the things that I saw. He had no idea this was going on. Yeah. Maybe they might have had trouble in the marriage. Maybe he was staying on base and working long hours. He became a workaholic because he didn't want to face issues at home. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong or indifferent.
He could be doing other things. He could be cheating. He could be doing other. It's not going well in the marriage. So he's being a good man and staying at work and working, making sure he's keeping he's on track to take care of his kid and all that. He could be partying out with the boys and drinking, but he's not. He's being a good egg because, the problem
and they all work together, which is crazy.
Oh, do they?
They worked in, they all drove trucks, I think, transportation or logistics. They all, were on the same unit. Wow. They all knew each other. Yeah. And other people in the unit knew this affair was going on, either from Camilla or from Jeremy. But it just seems like Tyrone was left in the dark. Maybe he did know, but there's no indication that anybody ever told him or that he knew anything was going on, let alone that they've plotted and attempted to kill him on several occasions.
Yeah, and
which is ridiculous.
Maybe the reason why he was at work so much is because his friends did know what was going on and they wanted him to stay at work. So they made it easier for him to be there longer than maybe they were afraid to tell him because he was a good guy. And they were like, no, just work extra hours. Hang out with us. Because they know that.
Yeah, we need you here, Sarge.
Yeah. Wow.
Or, I think it was intentional, though, while he was on leave because they would be together. She would know where he was going, what he was doing. Yeah. So in that 2-week time frame or whatever, when Jeremy went to Michigan on 4 different occasions, that was done intentionally that way.
It's terrible. This is just terrible. And he seems like he seems like a nice guy, like a really nice guy. Oh my
army friends out there have never told me about this.
breaks my
You
heart.
guys should do this story.
This breaks my heart. You know what this reminds
It's
me
horrible,
of, though?
horrible story.
It's a horrible story. We did this. I forgot. There was another love triangle. We've done a bunch of these. We did. For some reason, it just popped in my head. Shauna Hoover's. Didn't we do
Yes.
Shauna? That was another one.
Yeah.
Wow. This was a good episode. This was a good subject.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really so much of the unknown other than we know, but the reason behind it is fucking ridiculous. She's like, it'd be easier to get rid of him. I mean, and that's the typical motive, right? For murder for generations.
Yeah.
It's easier to kill him than it is to get a divorce.
That's horrible. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, and I've got some pictures. He's a cutie.
Is he in a uniform?
Yes.
Is he? Oh, you're going to break my heart now. I got to look up picture.
Now look.
Do I want to see a picture of him right now?
I'm not trying to be like ugly or anything, but she wasn't much to look at, and neither is this Jeremy guy. So it's just shitty.
Wait a minute, is that his dad with him? And
with the long hair?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's his dad.
What a beautiful family. And is she the one in the middle?
Yes, in the red shirt.
All right.
Is that the picture you're looking at? Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It's crazy. I know which picture you're looking at.
Yeah. He is adorable.
Well, that's the thing is like they welcomed her, and you know, his family loved her. And
can you see that picture?
Along.
You can't see that picture. Oh, him in when he's graduating.
Yep, I've got that picture for the Patreon too. Yep.
That breaks my heart. He seems like a good egg. He was doing everything right, and his miserable wife at home. Listen, you could be miserable. You just had a baby 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so like it's been 2 years since you were happy. So okay, you know what? I don't understand how people can just turn like that.
Well, the son was already
now
born.
I'm happy.
The son was already born because he was almost 2 years old at the time of the incident, and Camilla and Jeremy met the year before.
He was just born and she started shit. So there was no making her. She is a narcissist. Yeah. She is a manipulator.
Yes, definitely, and made herself to be out. Like I don't even know how people thought they could fucking get it. Like that's why I said she is so stupid. Like she didn't even attempt to cover up anything, and all it took for police to go. She did fail the polygraph, but like they could have told her. She said, "Well, how would you react if we told you failed?" Like they didn't have to lie to her, but they could have said something like, "How would it make you feel if we told you that you failed?" Well, did I? Well, you tell us. How would it make you feel? Like, there's ways that you can get around it with, like, letting her make the conclusion. I'm saying her just in general, but, like, letting the suspect make the conclusion, draw the conclusion with what the police are giving them to basically get out what they're looking for. Stay smarter. They stay smarter than the suspect.
And there's so many smarter than these two people. I'm sorry.
Well, we use Snapchat because the communications disappeared, but, like, I don't know. They're so dumb.
Everything they did was not recommended.
You have people at the CID in Georgia like coming to them saying, "Hey, this person was murdered. I happen to know that his wife was having an affair with this other person." Yeah. Like, yeah, dude.
Right, and I totally believe, even though the other guy, Jeremy, he is where he needs to be and he is guilty as sin. But I feel like if she is this big of a manipulator, like, yeah, he could have been in that mode, that lovesick, what do they call it when you're in this like lovesick mode?
Puppy love. Like
punch drunk love. It's almost like
this person.
Yeah, you're almost
person
acting
can
like
never do wrong.
You're acting like you're intoxicated all the time around them. So
yeah.
Oh my God. Wow.
Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
That's the story.
Cheers. Because we don't want to leave you hanging, chatters. For more information on this case, check out After That Crime Chat, only available on Patreon.
Yes. Don't forget to follow us on our socials, Crime Chat with Nat and Kat on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X. See what we got going on.
Remember, Crime Chat with Nat and Kat, when you become a VIP chatter to our Patreon, you'll have access to bonus episodes, bloopers, behind the scenes, and you'll have free merch. So come check out some merch in the works. And it's $1 a month on Patreon.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, chatter.
That's it. Yeah, become a VIP chatter. You get some goodies.
Yes.
And be sure to check out our next episode. It's going to be back to Nat's story. However, the first Saturday of the month is our time that we take to plan and devise the next stories that we're going to be doing. So in the meantime, what we started doing in season 4, we started it last month, is we're re-releasing some of our most popular downloaded faves. And January 4th is episode 59 of Big Red versus Anonymous, the Steubenville rape case. Stupidville.
Oh my God! So that's what I spoke to you about this. So
You did.
in the Big Red, that was one of the things that I referenced. That it's kind of a football culture, and that it's happened over and over and over again. But this was a different case. I mean, she was like a hired dancer that came to them, and then she accused them. But she lied.
Now I remember. Yeah.
She found Jesus.
And she said, I have to confess my sins.
Yeah.
Chatters, check out that re-release. The Big Red versus Anonymous is one of our top downloads. So if you haven't listened to it, you'll be able to listen to it again. Comes out January 4th. And then January 11th, we continue with episode 117 of season 4. And Natalie's going to surprise us.
Yes. Yes, I am. You don't want to miss it.
We'll see you on the next Crime Chat. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye.